Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I wanted to share some productivity tips. If you're new here, my name is Tori and I love creating videos about living a more natural, productive, and intentional lifestyle. And today I wanted to talk about productivity. Honestly, I wanted to talk about this because it's something that I have been personally struggling with a ton. So I've been implementing some changes in order to boost my productivity and it's been working so well. So I wanted to share those tips with you guys because I'm sure that I'm not the only person who struggles with being productive. So if you don't know, I work entirely from home, which is amazing and I love it so much, but it does mean that I have to be super disciplined with myself, and if I'm not getting things done, nobody else really knows other than me. And while motivation is amazing and sometimes I'm motivated, motivation is not enough. You can't count on motivation to actually get things done every single day, because there'll be days and weeks where you're super motivated to get all the things done, and then there'll be days and weeks or months where you're not motivated. That's where really good productive habits come in, and just knowing what to do in order to boost that productivity for yourself. So personally, I get so distracted. It's a really big problem. I'm like a squirrel. I'll start the morning by prepping some vlog content, and then all of a sudden I'm checking my emails and I get like a spam email from a grocery store service, and then I'm like, oh, I'm actually hungry. So I go over to the fridge, realize my fridge is kind of messy, start organizing my fridge, and then the next thing I know, it's 3 hours later and my fridge is organized, but I haven't done any of my actual work that I started out doing. So I have to be so intentional about setting myself up for success and eliminating all distractions. So if you are super distractible like I am, this video is definitely for you. If you don't get super distracted, then I'm super jealous because I get so distracted. So I wanted to share with you guys what works for me in order to have a really productive work day. So the first thing for me is that I cannot work in a messy space. If my house is a disaster, since I work from home, I can't get anything done. I'm super distracted. So the best thing that I can do for this is to always tidy up my space every single evening before I go to bed. And while I am pretty good at doing this, I'm not perfect, so often I'll wake up in the morning and there'll be dirty dishes, or there's like laundry everywhere or something. And then I really need to just take some time to tidy up before I'm able to focus on my work. Even when I worked at an office job, I always made sure to tidy up my workspace before I left for the day, so that I would always start the next day with a tidy workspace. But that being said, in the mornings when I go to do a little tidy up, I have to give myself a bit of a limit because I definitely clean when I'm procrastinating. If there's certain things I need to get done for work, but I'm not feeling like doing those, I will deep clean my whole house instead, because then I feel productive and I've kind of tricked myself into thinking that I've gotten things done, when in reality I did not need to reorganize my entire pantry and I did need to do my actual work. So kind of my compromise is that I'll spend 10 to 20 minutes in the mornings if I need to tidy up. Maybe that means doing a few dishes, maybe that just means putting away dry dishes from the night before. And if having a tidy space is important to you, but you don't have time to tidy up, or for whatever reason you don't want to, you can even just turn your chair around so that you're not facing the mess, so that at least what you're looking at is tidy. Or maybe you can sit on your bed and do some work. Personally, I don't really like sitting on my bed and working, but maybe that works for you. Or you could even just get out of your house and go sit at a Starbucks so that you don't have to see the mess in your house. But personally, I can't work in a mess. I just find it very distracting. So once my space is tidy, then I'm ready to actually start working. So what I like to do before I get started is get everything ready that I might need. So that means getting my phone charger or my laptop charger or my planner and a notebook and a pen. I also always like to make myself a cup of tea and also fill up my water bottle every morning before I start working. I might even take this time to make myself some breakfast, or if it's not morning, make myself a snack or lunch or whatever. But I like to have everything ready and prepared, because otherwise I'm gonna start working and my laptop's gonna die, so then I'm gonna have to go find my laptop charger, which will distract me, and then I'll start doing something else. Or I've been working for 20 minutes and I'm starving, so then I go to make breakfast and that takes 10 minutes. So the best thing for me is if I have everything right in front of me so that I do not have to stand up for like an hour. Okay, so once I have everything prepared, I love to set a timer on my phone. I will just set like a 30 or 45 or 60-minute timer. It depends on what I'm doing, and it depends on the amount of time I have available to me. I don't really ever set more than an hour timer, just because that's kind of too long of a time period to guarantee that I can just sit there. And then I try to not have to get up for anything during that timer, which is why I do the step before where I get everything ready, because I want that to be super focused work time. And it's actually so amazing how much you can get done if you put aside 30 to 60 minutes to work with no distractions. You can cram out so much stuff in that time. And even if I have that timer going, I try to not have to get up and go to the bathroom or even let my dog out. Obviously, if there's still 45 minutes left on it, I'll probably like go let my dog out or something. But if there was like 8 minutes left, I would just try to power through for the last 8 minutes, and whatever I need can wait. And then while I have that timer set, I like to have my planner or a notebook or somewhere where I can just write down my thoughts. So maybe I remember like, oh yeah, I really need to call so-and-so today and return that phone call. But I know that if I do it right now, I'm gonna get distracted and I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing, and I need to just finish this like 30 to 45 minute task before I do anything else. So I like to have a pen and paper where I can just write down things that come to my mind. Maybe I write down pay the phone bill or any things like that that are definitely important things. And I know that there's different ways to look at this. Some people say that if something comes to your mind and it'll take you less than 2 minutes to just do it right away. Personally, I can't do that because I could think of things all day long that will take less than 2 minutes, and I could get to 10 p.m. and have only done 2-minute tasks all day. So I write down all of those things, and then those can go on a to-do list for maybe my next 30-minute timer. Maybe after my first timer, I'm going to get up and walk my dog, and then after that, I'm going to come back, and that's when I'm going to do all my phone calls, or that's when I'm going to respond to all my emails or whatever. But it's super helpful for me if I kind of block things into pieces and do one thing at a time. Basically, the entire theme of this video is how to work and not be distracted, because I'm so easily distracted. Okay, and then while you're working, it's extremely important that you know what you're working on. And I know, again, that sounds so obvious, but I don't think it's effective to have a to-do list of 25 things ranging from reorganize your closet, to launch a blog, to make a new ebook, to meal prep for the whole week. You can't have all of those things on your to-do list for a day because they're not going to get done, and they're especially not going to get done if you don't block them out in specific times. So I like to pick tasks that are similar. So maybe I'm going to set a 1-hour timer and I'm going to respond to all of my emails, and I'm going to brainstorm content for the next 30 days on my blog. So I set a 1-hour timer for that. It might only take me 30 minutes, and if I'm finished in 30 minutes, then I can take that opportunity to add 1 or 2 other things to the list. But if the hour is up and I'm just finishing those 2 things, I'm still gonna feel super productive because I finished the things that I was trying to do. And when I'm picking 1 or 2 things to do, I like to pick the most important things that I need to do that day, not the things that probably could wait or like aren't super important but I'd rather be doing. I try to pick the things that I actually don't really want to do but are really important that I get done. Okay, and my next tip is to turn off your phone. Yes, I know that I mentioned setting a timer on your phone, but obviously you can set a timer on your oven or on your laptop or on your phone, but then turn your phone onto airplane mode, or at least put your phone out of arm's reach, or maybe even in a different room. Maybe you have more self-discipline than I have, but I just am so in the habit of like picking up my phone and like scrolling through Instagram, and I don't even realize that I'm doing it. So for me, it's super important that my phone is at least out of reach and probably on airplane mode, or at least on silent, so that I'm not touching it constantly. Okay, and then my next tip is to give yourself planned breaks. Personally, I don't think that humans thrive when they're working 3 to 4 hours straight with no break. I think that we do the best if we work 1 to 2 hour stretches, take a quick break, work another 1 to 2 hours, take a quick break. And I get that that might not be doable if you work in an office environment, but maybe you can even set a 1-hour timer, cram out a whole bunch of work, and then once the timer goes up, you can go to the bathroom, you can make yourself a cup of tea, you can go for a walk to the copy room, or even just switching tasks and doing something different after the hour. I think that that can be helpful for our brains to just kind of get a break and do something different. So the way I like to plan breaks is I like to get 1 to 2 hours of work done first thing in the morning after I've woken up and had breakfast, get about an hour of work done, and then I'll take a break and take my dog for a walk. And then once I come back from a walk, then I can move into different tasks. But the walk really helps to break things up. And then maybe I'll work for another 2 hours, and then I'll take like a 20-minute break and make lunch and eat lunch, and then I'll work for a few more hours, and then I will take a break and maybe make dinner, or my husband will come home or whatever. But I like to kind of have that sectioned off and have some breaks planned, because otherwise I will like write 1 paragraph out of a whole like blog post that I need to write and then reward myself with a break, when in reality I've been working for 7 minutes and I do not deserve a break yet. Does anybody else do that? Because it's super ridiculous that I do that. So just do whatever you can to take little breaks, but try to plan those out in advance. And even if you don't plan them out at the beginning of the day, just try to tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna work for 1 hour now, and then I'm gonna reward myself with this break. And then be sure to really protect your time. So when I first became self-employed, it was so easy to kind of think of myself as unemployed, or just I had a super flexible schedule and I would like go for walks with friends in the morning or just make plans with friends at noon or for lunch. And that didn't work because I just ended up never getting anything done. So I really try to protect my work hours, and that also includes knowing which hours are your most productive work hours. So for me, that's about 10 o'clock a.m. until like 3 or 4 p.m. Those are the hours that I'm super productive. So I try to really block those hours off and use those for my most important work. And I try not to use those for things like cleaning the house or even doctor's appointments or meeting up with friends. I try to do those things outside of those hours. And obviously life happens, and maybe one day I just have to book a doctor's appointment at noon, so obviously that's fine. I'm flexible still. But for the most part, I like to really protect my productive work hours. And that is it. Those are the things that I do in order to have a really productive work day. I hope that those tips were helpful for you. If you have any productivity tips yourself that you think would be helpful for me, I would love if you would leave a comment below and let me know what those are, because I'm always looking for ways to boost my productivity and decrease my distractions. So thank you guys so much for watching this, and I will see you in a few days in